definitely saw debris flying around in this. I don't know if it's touched all the way down to the ground, but
This is a live update as a tornado outbreak is well underway across southeastern North Carolina into northeastern South Carolina. There was a storm that just produced a tornado near North Myrtle Beach, and there is another one that has developed with another tornado warning in North Myrtle Beach. Right now it is 7:58 in the morning. Here you can see that parent storm with the circulation just to the west of Little River now with another storm that has produced. And then this is the main band now that also has several tornado producing storms. This one just came ashore on Sneed's Ferry minutes ago. If you're in Sneed's Ferry, you definitely want to be in your safe place because it looks like a tornadic waterspout has just come ashore. It does look like another circulation is about to spin up right over top Sneed's Ferry. This is another circulation that just passed over the Burgaw area that has tornado potential as well. That one looks like it is cycling a bit, and there are a bunch of supercells offshore as it looks like the tornado threat is slowly shifting toward the Emerald Isle, up toward the Morehead City area. Here you can see some more tornado producers just offshore with the increased lightning there as well. And when you look at the infrared loop, you can almost see these tornado producers happen. You can see little pops in the echo tops. This was the first one that produced a confirmed tornado over North Myrtle Beach. That one moved inland. You can then see another one out near Cape Fear that produced a tornado. And then now you've got the echo tops that are starting to shift up towards Sneed's Ferry, Emerald Isle area. These are the next band of tornado producers. So these are happening in individual bands right at the nose of a dry punch that's wrapping around the east side of Hurricane Dorian. That is a Category 2 storm that is skirting the coastline. There is a little bit of damage, some 50 to 60 mile an hour winds right along the coastline, but these tornadoes have strong tornado threat up there as well. There are many videos on Twitter out of North Myrtle Beach of that large tornado that was passing from east to west. You could even see this one pretty horizontal tilt before it went vertical and then intensifying rapidly. So these tornado outbreak definitely appears underway. A tornado outbreak almost doesn't give this thing justice with a number of storms. It's almost overwhelming for the normal person as to the number of storms that there are here. One here that just came ashore near Sneed's Ferry as producing a tornado heading inland. This one probably should have a tornado warning as well, but it's cycling, can ramp up very fast, but you can see the hook-like appendage that's coming around the southwest side near the Burgaw area as well. This storm lifting off to the northwest of Burgaw and St. Helena looks to be cycling a bit. Probably doesn't have a tornado on the ground right now, but could produce one at any time. This is the one of the original tornado producers that went through North Myrtle Beach earlier, still cranking away to the west of Loris, heading in the direction of the Marion area. Once these things get a little bit inland, they do lose their low-level instability. That is fueled by the warm waters of the ocean, the dry air moving over top that, but then these things encounter some low-level stability and start to weaken. So that's probably what's going to happen to this original tornado producer. This one right here, though, to the north of Myrtle Beach, still has potential to produce a tornado. Looking at the velocity, zooming in on the north side of North Myrtle Beach, it looks a little bit stretched out, a little elongated and fluffy. This storm is likely in the process of drilling down through dynamic piping. Usually the tornado will form just aloft above the ground and then drill down through a shallow stable layer before it produces. This one looks like it's in the process of organizing and developing into a tornado. Right now it is to the northwest of Myrtle Beach, but does have a chance to produce. This one has a lot of turbulence in it, likely a little bit elevated as well, but I could see the Anor area possibly getting a tornado as this one's moving a little bit more to the west. It's not as much of a right mover as it's becoming a little bit more elevated. Looking back at the Sneed's Ferry storm, Here you can see it was likely a pair of waterspouts coming ashore near North Topsail Beach, near the Sneads Ferry area. Still tornado potential with that, with a general mesocyclone there near Sneads Ferry, moving off to the northwest. This warning includes Jacksonville, so if this storm intensifies and becomes a right mover, it could do a light over towards the Jacksonville area. That definitely does have potential. This storm here has a very large shelf cloud / mesocyclone that's starting to develop here on the southern side of it to the west of St. Helena. You've got northerlies on the west side of that circulation, southeasterly inflow on the southeast of that. And the tornado watch here continues until 4 p.m. as you've got a bunch of storms upstream, 5 or 6 different supercells. All these different clusters will be producing waterspouts and tornadoes as they come ashore between Emerald Isle and Morehead City later on this morning. But we definitely do have confirmed tornado producers dominating here across eastern North Carolina, northeastern South Carolina. The reason why is the environment is extremely conducive for these tornadoes. Looking at the RAP analysis, and they just issued an enhanced risk for severe weather. That's the Storm Prediction Center that has issued that across eastern North Carolina because of all of the, and there you can see 5 tornado reports already across southeastern North Carolina, including the one there that was near North Myrtle Beach. Handful of tornado reports as well happening inland there. This is definitely a big deal as this front right quadrant has now started to head over land out here across eastern North Carolina. There you can see the hurricane. It's not rocket science on where the hurricane's located. And here's the outer band with the strong wind shear, these outer bands that are coming ashore, individual supercells that become more elongated as they get a little bit closer to the center. Looking at the effective helicities, you can see why you get tornadoes in the front right quadrant of these storms. It's because the storm relative helicity is maximized in that front right quadrant that moves over land, and you get some friction of the earth as well that can locally enhance the low-level shear, increase the speed shear. Imagine if you have a 20-knot surface wind, and just above that you've got a 40-knot wind at 1 kilometer. You decrease that surface wind to 10 knots. You're increasing your 0 to 1 kilometer shear from 20 knots to 30 knots. That's just a very rough example of how a slight weakening of the surface wind can enhance the wind shear. And yeah, not surprisingly, the Storm Prediction Center does have a hatch area for strong tornadoes now, right on the leading edge of that dry punch that is rotating around the east side of the circulation into eastern North Carolina, causing major problems. Looking at the instability, you don't have a huge amount of cape ahead of these storms, but because of that dry air that's coming up and over that moisture, you've got 1,500 to 2,000 skinny cape out here, out ahead of this situation. It is a tropical profile, so very moist. Cloud bases are extremely low, but definitely an environment that is conducive for strong tornadoes. You can see what appears to be a coastal front that is setting up as well. So you're going to have flash flooding with these bands, tornadoes coming through, just mass chaos here with Dorian across the eastern Carolinas. Going back to radar. Couple dangerous storms. The most dangerous one is the one that is located just to the south of the Jacksonville area right here. That sickle-shaped, bean-shaped storm looks to be getting right there as it had that strong curvature in the inflow region. When you get that gradient and the reflectivity there, that means that this storm has strong inflow. And realizing the environment, you know that given that strong inflow, these things are likely wrapping up and swinging an RFD on the southern side. So between Sneads Ferry and Jacksonville now, this storm does have tornado potential. You've got a couple others that are heading northwest. This one heading toward Emerald Isle should be tornado warned soon. This one just